Hi, welcome to episode 3 of Actually Homeschooled. I'm your host, Milena. I have my little baby girl here, and she might be talking because she's very talkative today. So if you hear any baby babbles in the background, that's a baby. And she'll be with us for a little bit, at least until my fiance gets home. So, yeah, let's get started.
Exiting.
I have no clue what I'm going to talk about. I just figured that I would start recording and hopefully get in the groove. It's funny because I just started this podcast 2 weeks ago. I've only done 2 episodes, and this is the 3rd one, so I have, no idea what I'm going to talk about. I know that I have a lot more stories and I have a lot more things to talk about. I'm just feeling like I'm boring and like I have no ideas and nothing to talk about. One thing I can talk about, though, is these earrings I made. If you're watching on YouTube, these earrings that I made, they are blocks of cheese. For those of you listening, they are blocks of cheese. I'm going to do a little YouTube zoom in. I always zoom out first, but there's a little zoom in of the cheese. Zoom in of the cheese. And, yeah, I should just film the whole podcast like this. Be very mysterious. But yeah, those are some earrings that I made, and I've made other earrings, and I'm working on some wire wrapped stuff. So go check out my Etsy page if you want to buy some jewelry for yourself or for a friend or for a parent or a girlfriend or yourself or whoever, your dog. If your dog has pierced ears, maybe even your dog. Yeah, I got an Etsy page. Milena Celeste is my name on Etsy. And go check me out there. Buy yourself or your friend some jewelry. That'd be pretty cool. Let me know. It's all custom made, all handmade, made to order. So the order time is about a week, I think, for some things. Maybe 2 weeks for other things. But go and check that out. Milena Celeste on Etsy. Like I said, I have my little amazing baby here. She is teething now. She started teething, so she's drooling a lot. And I took off one of my nails so that she can have a bitey, chewy thing because she doesn't like teething toys, and she likes chewing on my fingers. So, because I have acrylic nails on, that's for the listeners if you're not watching this. I have acrylic nails on, so I took off my pinky nail, which looks kind of ratchet. I'm fully aware of that. I know. I'm surprised my mom didn't make fun of me for it, but yeah, I have my pinky free so that she can chew on it when she gets restless when we're driving, because hearing her cry when I'm driving, it just makes me so sad. And even if I'm driving from, I don't know, my parents' house to my house, which is a very, very short drive, I still want to pull over and make her stop crying. Help her stop crying because I feel bad. So I give her my little pinky, and then she's happy. The things you do for your baby. But yeah, no idea what I wanted to talk about. Tried to think of ideas. My older sister suggested I react to a video, but I just kind of feel like I don't want to do that yet, I kind of want to just talk about more stuff so you guys get to know me more before I start doing funny, bless you, random things like that. So yeah, here's another tidbit of information about me. I play piano. I've played piano since I was like 6. I wanted to start playing guitar. That was the first one I wanted to play. But my mom said, let's go see this lady. She plays piano, and let's go see her opinion. So this woman used to live in my parents' neighborhood. Her name was Miss Meg, R.I.P. Miss Meg. She was amazing and lovely and such a kind teacher and human being. And her husband still lives in their same house that I used to go take lessons in. I used to go to their house and take lessons. And her husband, he still lives there, and he is equally fantastic and lovely. And they're both she was an amazing human, and he is an amazing human. And it is very cool that I got to learn how to play music from her because she was such an encouraging, kind person. So went over to her house, told her that I really wanted to play guitar, and she said, you should play piano first. Start with piano, and then once you get the hang of that, then you could switch over to guitar. It's a lot easier. Piano's a lot more simple to be able to learn the notes, and then you can branch out from there. I never branched out because I ended up loving piano, so I just stuck with piano and then added on singing. And it's funny because I did singing lessons when I was young. I even did musical theater when I was young, and I do not like singing in front of people or to people. The only person I've sung to is my baby, because she's a little baby and she's not, gonna judge me for singing. I think I sing, I'm confident that I sing well, but I'm just embarrassed and don't want to sing in front of people. And I feel like I should just get over that, because maybe one day I'll regret not showing my voice to family, at least. I don't know, like karaoke nights and stuff. I always get so embarrassed and I won't sing. Not that I do karaoke nights all the time, but I'm like, no, I'm okay, I'm good. I don't want to. Even though I kind of want to, I don't. I don't know. I'm sure people can relate to that, but yeah. So piano and singing were the first two things musically that I started doing. And yeah, I did a recital with Miss Meg. She had a recital for all of her students. She had tons of students, men, women, young kids, boys, girls, like tons of people. So there was probably like 75 people in the audience, just from family members inviting their family members, like, hey, I've got a recital, come and hear me play piano or sing or both. So 75 people is kind of a lot of people, especially if you're shy and hate performing. Me, except for now, I love being the center of attention with dancing, and not singing, but dancing, or obviously podcasting. I totally dig being the center of attention. But back when I was young, absolutely not. So the recital, full house, more or less, did not want to perform. I was singing Popular from the musical Wicked. Did not want to do it. And I'm pretty sure I also played a piano song as well, like separately. I did a piano song, and then a couple people went, and then I did my song. And the piano one I was okay with, because my teacher sat on the bench with me, and I was, sideways, so the crowd was over here, not directly in front of me. And then for the song, I refused to do it. Pretty sure I started crying in my seat, and my mom was also performing a song. She did I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis. And I want to find the CD or DVD of that recital, because I feel like she sang amazingly. I think she's got a fantastic voice. And also, I'd love to see my little embarrassed not face, because I was so embarrassed and crying. I sang with my back to the audience. That was my mom's idea / compromise. I was going to say ideal, but no. It was her idea / compromise, because she said that I had to do it. So I sang with my back to the audience, facing my mother as she sat on the stair in front of me, because I was embarrassed and shy and didn't want to do it, but I had to anyways. So yeah, I used to be a very, very shy, tiny person. And then after that performance, I don't think I ever did another one with her. I don't think we ever did another recital, which was just fine with me. And then she got diagnosed with cancer and stopped doing lessons after a while, and, passed away. But I had fallen in love with piano with her, so I wanted to continue learning. So one of my childhood best friends had a piano teacher, and they loved her. And so my mom was like, well, let's try her out. And she was this super cool young Korean woman. And she was a really good teacher as well. But it was funny going from a Caucasian teacher to a Korean teacher with piano. I don't know if any of you play piano, but with piano, there is a difference, because in the Asian culture, if you play an instrument, primarily it is piano, the practice regimens are very strict. And I know this just from her telling me that she would go to school and come home, and her mom would tell her, you have to practice piano for X amount of hours until dinner, and then you do your homework, and then you go to bed. And that was like her thing. And then on the weekends, she would do the exact same thing except minus school. So she would play piano for X amount of hours, and then that was what she was told to do and what she had to do. And, you know, she grew up still loving it, but she said that she wished she had a lesser, a less strict schedule. And I actually did a couple, I did one semester of piano theory at Santa Ana College a few years ago. And the teacher was Korean as well. And she said the exact same thing. She had a very strict, extremely rough for a child schedule for practice. It was like hours and hours and hours of sitting at the piano and just practicing these drills over and over. And she's an amazing pianist, but she's, you know, that's a pretty rough thing for a little kid to not have that much freedom, you know? So it was interesting going from a Caucasian piano teacher to a Korean piano teacher, just because the difference in, you know, she would say, okay, you have to practice this, do this many pages of theory and this many pages of whatever. And it was fun. I liked doing it. But it definitely was very strict I say with quotes, but strict, compared to the other woman who was like, make sure you practice your songs, do a couple pages of theory, I'll see you next week. So it was just very, very different. And I was with her for a few years actually, probably like 3 or 4 years. Oh, that made my baby excited. I was with her probably 3 or 4 years. And then she went on a mission trip to Nicaragua, I think, or I'm pretty sure it was Nicaragua. And when she was gone, I was talking to my mom and I decided that I needed to be with somebody more challenging, because it just got to a point where I didn't feel like I was continuing to learn. I felt like I had learned the most I could with her and needed a new teacher to challenge me more so that I could keep learning and growing in my piano playing. So I told her, you know, when she got back, I told her, I was like, so I only think we're going to do a couple more lessons, and then I'm going to, I either said I was going to see about getting a new teacher and was honest with her, or I just wasn't going to do lessons for a while. I can't remember which one. But she was totally cool and was like, oh yeah, of course. I'm so glad I got to teach you for so long. And, you know, if you ever want to start lessons again or come back or whatever, just let me know. Because she used to come to my house, which was also super cool. So it went from going to somebody's house to then having a teacher come to my house to then after her, my mom found, because my mom was taking guitar lessons at the time, she found through her guitar teacher another piano teacher, another Caucasian female. And the only reason I'm specifying the gender and race of these people is because I feel like the different genders and races are very important for piano playing, just for the energy of the person you're learning from, the style of homework, you know, the style of practicing, and just all of that. I feel like it all, you know, varies on the person. I don't know. And so I went to this other woman. I did not like her at all. Did not like her. I think I took like 3 lessons from her and was like, hey, Mom, can I not go back to this lady anymore? Because I just don't like her. I don't like the way she teaches. I don't like her vibe. I don't like the way she talks to me. She's not my cup of tea. She's not my teacher. So can I not go to her anymore? And obviously my mom said, of course. And then I don't think I had a teacher for a while. And then my mom somehow, don't know how she found this guy, but she found a male piano teacher. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to learn piano from a guy. Like, I never really thought about that. He came over to our house and literally still is like one of the coolest people I know. He is so hyper and energetic and like has so many things to talk about, and we're on the same page of same mindset. We're on the same page in the mind, and that just made everything super cool, and it made it easy to talk to him. And he was so fun to learn from because he was completely different from any of the other teachers I had ever had. Like complete flip-flop, upside down, completely different. And I realized I said completely like 5 times right there. But yeah, he was a fabulous teacher. I'm considering starting lessons with him again. Now that I have the baby, it's kind of like I could go do that, drop her off with my parents. They have a piano at their house. I could do lessons over at their house. She's pretty chill. But I haven't texted him yet. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I do love playing piano, and I do credit my piano playing level now to him because his style of teaching was so different and so loose-ended in a way that made it extremely enticing for me to practice. And he helped me compose my first songs. Like, he helped me write, I think, 4 songs we wrote together. And I still have the recordings. And if I listened to them, I could probably play them. I haven't played. I should have continued to practice them. Should have definitely continued to practice my own songs, like duh. But I didn't. And I should listen to the recordings and start practicing again. He was so open and chill and real that when I would get embarrassed or, feel like I couldn't do something or feel like I wasn't good enough, he was just like, what's going on? And I felt comfortable enough to just tell him what was up. It was just really cool because with piano, again, it was that same thing where I didn't want to be the center of attention and I didn't want everybody to look at me, and I wanted, to just kind of be able to hide behind the piano, and he's a very outspoken, extrovert. So he was like, no, you're not going to hide behind the piano. Everybody's going to see you because you're the one playing. Everybody needs to see the person playing the piano. And he has a couple albums recorded. His name is Steve Rivera. Check him out on Spotify. He's pretty freaking awesome. Super cool guy, super amazing artist. And he would help me figure out emotionally why I felt uncomfortable playing piano and being the center of attention. He was super cool with helping me get past that past that barrier with my piano playing, because I just had a hard time when people would stop and listen to me, when my dad would be like, oh, go play a song, I want to listen. I just had a hard time not getting self-conscious and then not messing up, and then I would mess up, and then I would say, oh, I messed up. My dad was like, I wouldn't have even been able to tell if you had just continued to play. I would have had no idea that you messed up. I would have had no clue. I'm like, damn, I should have done that. Piano is definitely a cool instrument. I definitely want my little baby to know how to play some instrument of some kind. Piano's pretty cool, though. And it's pretty easy to learn. Once you get the hang of it and you can, do your practicing your scales and do your left hand and your right hand separately, then it's a lot easier. One of the things I'm super grateful for is knowing how to read music. I love knowing how to read music. Music theory was always so fun. I used to do music theory, just grab my music theory book and just do a couple pages because I thought it was so fun and interesting. It's super interesting. It is very cool being able to see the notes and the pauses and the breaks and understand them. If you couldn't hear that, I'm pretty sure you could. She's pretty loud. That was the baby. She was telling her side of the story. So yeah, that was the deal with my music career. My older sister played the drums for a while. She did the drums. She tried guitar, but didn't really care for it. And then she ended up doing drums, and we still have her drum set at my parents' house. It's pretty cool. And then my little sister did guitar for a while with my mom. They both did guitar together, and that was their thing. And they don't really do it anymore because my mom was always had acrylic nails, and the guitar teacher would always make fun of her for having long nails because he said you can't play guitar correctly with long nails, which makes sense. That makes sense. I can understand that. You can't really play piano with long nails. You can, but it's uncomfortable and weird because your nail hits the key instead of your finger pad, and it's so much easier to feel the key because I always liked not looking at the keys. I always thought that was the coolest thing, was to be able to play with your eyes closed and just know where the notes are just from your heart, And having nails, you can't really do that well. So my piano teacher, Steve, he would always make fun of me when I had nails on, and I didn't like it. So I didn't wear nails for a while, even though sometimes I would want to be girly and, have long, pretty acrylic nails on. I was talking to my mom and I was like, does the length of the podcast matter? And this battery is going to die. So who knows if I'm even going to use this, right? Who knows? We'll see. It's the next day, if you can't tell. I don't know if you can tell, but it's the next day. All the batteries died and I got mad, and so I gave up. But like I was saying, before all the batteries died, I was talking to my mom about the length of the podcast episode, if the length per episode matters, like if it's got to be the same amount of time each episode. And it's funny because there's a lot of things that come with podcasting that I didn't really think about. The microphone, for one, the recording, the voice separate from the audio, if you're going to do that. If you're going to do a podcast, you 1000% need a microphone that makes your voice sound like you're doing a podcast. Because if you don't have one of those, the audio is pointless and you might as well just do a video. I obviously had no idea, which is funny because you would think that's pretty obvious of a thing to do if you're going to do a podcast. But I figured, recording the audio on the camera will be perfect. That'll be fine. That'll be great. But it wasn't. Originally, this podcast was going to be with me and my older sister. And so we filmed the first episode. We tried one day, and then I edited it together, and we both didn't really like it. And then the second time we recorded it, we didn't really like it. And then I realized we need frickin' mics. So then we did a bunch of research and found microphones that weren't too expensive, but had really good sound quality. So finding the right microphone took a while, which was aggravating. Then we finally got the microphones, got that all set up. Then my older sister said she didn't want to do it. She didn't feel comfortable doing it. And that honestly made everything a little bit easier because then I could, have control over what I'm going to talk about and, figure it out myself. Because, sisters, combat-y, sometimes it's like two goats butting heads, So it was cool that she ended up telling me that. It was cool she was honest and didn't just force herself to do it. So that was appreciative. I was appreciative towards her about that. Actually homeschooled. You can tell with the grammar. Right? Yeah. And then I had to figure out how to record the audio separate from the video. And my computer laptop thing that I have is not compatible with any recording software because it is a Chromebook. And so I had to use, and am using, luckily, my fiance's laptop because he's got an Apple and is kind enough to let me use it to record my audio. And then I'm actually using his camera because it has a viewfinder so I can see myself for the video portion. And that is also super helpful. So grateful that I didn't have to spend a whole bunch of money to get this thing started. That's pretty cool. So the lighting fixture was provided from my dad because he and my older sister run our family business making custom lighting. Shout out Orion Chandelier. Go give him a follow. And then the paintings back there, right there and there, you see? Those are matching because my fiance and I painted them for my 21st birthday. He surprised me and took me to a wine and paint night, which is super thoughtful and cool. I was a total jerk about it and still feel bad about it and need to get over that. But yeah, he surprised me and said, I want to go take you out for your birthday. So we're going to, at 6:00, we got to be ready so that we can go and do the thing that I'm going to surprise you with. And I was like, ooh, okay, that's cool. I was turning 21 and was pregnant. So it's not like drinking was on the menu, I believe for being pregnant, do and eat and enjoy things that sound good to you and feel good to you. So like when I was pregnant, I ate sushi. I went in my family's hot dip. It was maybe like 98 degrees, which was super lovely. It's a wood-fired hot dip in their backyard. It's amazing, and I love it. And I went and did some stuff that people say, oh, you don't do that if you're pregnant, especially the sushi thing. But sushi sounded good to me, and it never made me sick, and my baby is healthy and beautiful and awesome. So I'm all about the whole do what feels good and sounds good to your own body, because you're the one who knows what's going on with you when you're pregnant as a woman, So for my 21st birthday, he surprised me with a wine and paint night. And it ended up being super, super fun. The people we were sitting at the table with were kind of ridiculous, and him and I were having fun just messing around with them. And everyone was super nice, and the directions to paint the paintings were actually pretty easy to follow. But I am not a painter or a drawer or anything along those lines, I'm like a sculptor or a color inner or paint by number, or, like I can do stuff like that. I'm really good and I like doing stuff like that, but doing it myself, I'm not the best at, / I don't really like it that much. If I practice more, I'd probably get better at it, because you get better with, practice with anything, but it's just not really my jam. So I was a total dick, right? Also pregnant hormones, also feeling bad that I was pregnant and 21, just because it was like, I was like, man, it's like the first day that I could go and have somebody check my ID and get a glass of wine or something. It's not like I wanted to go ham or go crazy with drinking. It was just like, now I have a real ID instead of a potential not real one that I was using before for dancing that I mentioned in the past episodes. So he took me to go get that, go have that done, go do that for my birthday, and they came out pretty good. I'm gonna do a little zoom in here on the YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, you will be able to see. All right, so this one, that's the one that I did. This is the one that he did. I think, focused on my hand. I think his is way better. It's more flowy and blended. He also is an artist, so it makes sense that his would be more like that. Like he's a really good artist. And also, I did my pier the opposite way. Yeah. So I drew my pier the opposite direction from everybody else because I wanted to be cool and edgy. But that's mine. And that's his. So, yeah. I should just do the whole podcast episode like this. It's really attractive, huh? So we go to the wine and paint night, and I was a total jerk, and after we left, I felt really badly for how I acted, and we went and got Wingstop and went home and had late night Wingstop, and it ended up being a good night, and I'm grateful for the memory because it was really fun. And I remember while we were there, they did like a halfway point break. So we painted for like, I think an hour, and then took a break, and then we're going to do another hour. And while we were on break, him and I went outside because it was really stuffy in the studio, and there was this little kid on his skateboard hustling for money. He was like 7, and I think his parents were having pizza at the pizza place right next door. But he came up to us and was like, and he had big old teeth and a gap in between his teeth, and he was all lispy, and he was like, will you give me $1 if I do a kickflip? If I do a kickflip, will you guys give me $1? And I was like, this kid's hilarious. Yeah, of course. If you can do a kickflip, we'll give you $1. And so he's like, okay. And so then he went to go do it and messed up and was like, wait, one more try. And we're like, all right, you said on the first one, but okay, do it again. And so then he did it again. He got it. So we gave him $1. And then we went back inside And then him and his little buddy were, every person that came in and out of the building, they were like, if we do a kickflip, will you give us $1? If we do this skateboard trick, will you give us $1? And after the break was over, it was like maybe a 15-minute break, we see the kid and his friend outside the front window, because it was this big front window, right? And we see them standing out there, and the little kid has like a thick stack of ones, like however thick this is, 1.5 inches maybe? I don't know. It was a thick stack of ones that he had got. And he was standing there like all like, woo, check out my money, like dancing around, flapping his money around. And I said to my fiance, you know, if I was a bad person, I would go outside and grab his money and then run away because I'm bigger and faster than him. Does that make me a bad person? I didn't do it. I just said that would be funny / bad if I did that, you know? Like that'd be bad funny. Be funny bad if I did that. Like in a TV show, that'd be funny. But like in real life, that probably wouldn't be funny. And so I just said it and we laughed and it was great. And it was a good time. We had fun. So, yeah. But next week, I will definitely have better topics. I'm going to ruminate, come up with ideas, talk to my family, talk to my friends, figure out things to talk about to keep you guys interested, because I really do want this to become a thing. I might start incorporating interviews and video review things, video reaction review things, but I feel like that's more of a YouTube thing, not necessarily a podcast thing to react to videos. So we'll see if I do that. I might just throw in like a little YouTube thing and only post it on YouTube if I'm going to do a video react. But we'll see. We're still getting in the flow of things. It's only episode 3. I've got plenty of time to figure it all out. So yeah, thanks for listening. Hope it was interesting. I love my fiance. I'm just going to say that. He never listens to the podcast, and that's okay because we live together and he doesn't have to listen to it. But I love him dearly. And also, just stamp it in there. In case any of you were wondering who the handsomest guy in the world is, it's him. He is the best looking, most genuine, sweet guy. And I am so grateful to have found him and to have a child with him and to get married to him. We're going to get married soon, so that's pretty exciting. And again, there's the ring. There it is. Oh, it's focusing on my face. There it is. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Amethyst. He's a doll. He picked the perfect ring for me, and I'm grateful. So, I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your week, a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next Thursday at 1:00 for the 4th installment of Actually Homeschooled. Peace out, biatches. That was such a lame ending. Okay, bye.